Clover cheese is for those who love life, where everything falls into place and melts away our cares, adding joy and stretching our imagination. Clover, for the love of cheese.
Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to our Afternoon Express Cookalong, where we have our guest chef, Chef Mbofhi. Now, we are inspiring you when it comes to Easter dining, Easter cuisine, and of course, she is speaking us through top to toe what we're going to be making. Now, I love the fact now that we're about to create something a little different. I have never made a pork belly like this. So can you just talk us through this recipe and the ingredients we need?
All right, so pork roulade, that's what we're calling it today. It's a pork roulade. So pork roulade is a belly, it's a pork belly that we're gonna stuff. What I'm gonna stuff with is I'm gonna stuff with some mushroom that we're gonna saute first. And then the condiments for that is gonna be some polenta, which you are gonna do for us. And then we also have some caramelized apples, which you are gonna prepare for us. And then we have some bok choy just to add some greeniness, some freshness, and yeah.
Love that. So it's pretty simple. I mean, my station, I'm going to start with mine. Mine is the easiest, honey. To make these delicious caramelized apples, I have got some salt, some brown sugar, and some butter, and of course, the apple itself. So I'm just going to slice this as you have shown me. I'm going to slice it very thinly, very small pieces, fry it up, and then hopefully I'm going to do Chef Mbofhi proud.
I think you already did. That guac was beautiful, so I'm already impressed. All right, so on my side, I'm just going to start sauteing our mushrooms. That's going to go inside our pork before I start sealing it and doing the sauce for it. And Domi, you're preparing our polenta.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready with our cheeses here, and today we are using our amazing Clover cheese. We're using different kinds. So we've got Tessers, we've got cheddar. If you'd like to, you can also use Gouda. We've also added we're going to be adding a bit of Parmesan as well. The one thing I love about this dish is that polenta, in essence, I'd like to call it just Spanish pap. It's like, you know, I like to,
true.
you know, it's like Spanish pap in essence. So what we're doing now is we're putting a spin on it and just not having that simple plain grain. We're adding some, you know, flavor to it. Yes, most people, there's still that debate, Mbofhi, about whether people add salt to their pap or not. With polenta, you do want to add flavor. You do want to add that bit of flavor. So we're using cheese today, and I'm using 3 different types of cheeses. You know, they're enriched with, they've got all that calcium in there. So, you know, it's great for you. So I'm just going to start grating up this cheese, and once I've grated up all the cheese that I need, I'm going to start cooking it. Same premise as pap, right?
Basically. So what you want to do, you boil your water, and then you're going to add in your masa in there. That's literally it. I'm going to go in with my mushrooms while you're doing that.
Okay.
All right.
This recipe is super simple, and Domi, when you were speaking about your polenta, what I love about polenta is that creaminess. So a lot of people might not know how to always achieve the same consistency of creaminess when putting together a very good polenta. I know we're coming through with the cheese today, but how else can we add an extra element of cream?
Exactly. That last word, cream. You could also add cream into your polenta. You can add bucket loads of butter into your polenta. You basically can flavor it whichever way you like. I also suggest adding yogurt in there. Plain yogurt works very well in there. Some black pepper takes it to a whole other level, you know. But it's basically about what you like as a person. What flavors do you like? You can put in, remember Balesa, my mom made that savory pap last year?
I remember.
You can do that whole thing again. Fry up some veggies on the side, some red peppers, green peppers, add those into your polenta, and then that takes it to a whole other level altogether.
Love that. Okay, and now how is it going on the mushroom station?
Okay, so I'm almost done here with my mushrooms. I'm just going to let them saute a little bit. Well, this is happening, right? I've prepared a little butcher's twine kind of twang, if you could call it. So what we want to do is truss our pork belly. So what we're going to do is stuff it with our mushrooms, and then we're going to roll it so that we tuck everything inside and nothing falls off. I think this is ready. So the best part about this one, right? For me, what I like to do with the pork, it's a one-pot wonder. I use the very same pot for everything so that we retain the ingredient, the flavor in there.
Yeah.
So we set this aside, reduce your heat.
Do you know what I also love about a one-pot wonder?
Yeah.
Less dishes.
That is true. That is very true. You don't have to be like walking around the kitchen, washing everything.
Yeah. And also just on my apple station here, as you can see, I've got my slices coming on quite well. I've added my butter to the pan. But then when it comes to the sugar and the salt, honey, how do you want me to put this together?
All right. So essentially what we're trying to do is to make caramel.
Yes.
And then that's going to caramelize our apple. So as this is melting, I'd rather you add your sugar right now.
Okay.
And then let it melt very slowly. Sugar burns really fast. So you want to make sure you're on like medium-low heat.
Medium-low.
And you are stirring the entire time to make sure it's dissolving and not burning.
Okay.
Right?
Sure, luckily I asked. Good timing.
And then with me on the pak choy side, I also just want to confirm, Chef, do you like to throw it in whole, or do you want me to cut it up before we put it into the pot?
I would rather you cut it in half.
Cut it in half. All right, lengthways, obviously.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So
And this is going into a pot with just a bit of butter.
just a little bit of butter, and then we're just gonna fry it nicely. We still want it nice and crunchy. All right, so I'm gonna go in with the pork belly and start stuffing it.
Okay.
This is our pork belly.
Now, most people, when making a duxelle, they would want to chop the onions finely.
Yeah.
You've left it very whole. Is there a reason for that?
Because it's a very chunky stuffing for a pork belly. You won't see it. Mostly when you do make a duxelle, it's usually for a Wellington, and there's like a layer of something, and you want to make sure it's even. But here, because we're stuffing it in here, it won't be an issue. But here, you see what I see with the pork belly. What you want is to make it even every time.
Okay.
So I'm seeing this little piece of meat that I'm just gonna.
Wow, to even it out.
Yeah.
And you're not removing it. Most people will be like, oh, it's extra piece of meat. Are you going to chuck it away?
I'm not gonna chuck it out. I'm gonna put it in there.
Amen, queen. I am
Not chuck it away. No, man. So you want to salt this with pepper as well, because you want to create flavor in everything that you're doing.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And then we go in. Very simple. Go in with your mushrooms, like that there.
Looking so good. Those mushrooms are cooked to perfection. I hate overcooked mushrooms as well. So it seems as if you had that on the right heat, on the right time, and now they're good to go.
Definitely. All right. So now we start rolling. It becomes messy at this stage, but we are in the kitchen. It is supposed to be messy, right?
Yeah.
You can roll it whichever way you want. I prefer the longer side.
Okay.
So try to do that there. This is going to become messy. You see this piece of meat? I don't want to get rid of it. I'm going to do it as we go.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Okay, let me know if you need me to help you with you sort it.
So you put all the mushrooms on one side of the pork belly to be able to roll it then over, giving it that space that it needs to roll over. I love that. It looks like my sugar, even here on the station, is starting to caramelize the way you wanted it to. Okay. And Dumi, what are you doing on your side?
I'm making the polenta. So normally when people make pap, people would be on some penny. You don't use a whisk for pap. But when it comes to polenta, guys, if you want to make sure that those greens don't clump up too quickly, I always suggest use the whisk first. Whisk it up nicely. Once you see that it's all coated in some type of water, then you can let the baby do what it needs to do. Okay. All right. And then as you see, I did bring a pin, Mama. I wasn't just doing the wrong thing here. I did have a pin.
No, but it's a good tip for pap as well, because you can do the very same thing with pap. It saves you so much time.
It does. It does.
So much time.
It started on a very high heat, as you would with normal pap. And now I'm turning it down to a medium to low, because now you want it to simmer and basically cook up.
And I can already see it thickening up.
Correct.
It's already getting so thick in a matter of seconds.
Correct, Bali.
I think your caramel is ready. You can go in with your apples now.
Love that.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, I'm just finishing trussing here.
Okay, and then Chef, when you talk about trussing, we're using pork today, right? But I know some people don't like pork.
Yeah.
Some people will be on some, I don't want to have this dish. It looks delicious, but I don't eat pork. What other meats could we use in place of the pork?
You could use a leg of lamb if you want to use lamb, and then you just debone it.
Palasa, as you can see, I've just added some seasoning to this, but I'm not adding too much salt because we're going to add that cheese. So it is important at this point to under-season, leave it, let it cook to whatever consistency we need it to be at, and then once it's halfway cooked or almost at the point we need it to be, then we add our cheese, check the seasoning there. If you wanted to add the cream, this would be the point. Once it's already come together, that's when you add your cream to, make it mellow out and do what it needs to do. But I'm going to leave that be right now, and I've grated my cheese. I'm going to start sauteing our bok choy.
So right now, we're about halfway through the recipe. My caramelized apples are looking golden to perfection. Loving it. And on your side?
I have trusted my lamb. What I need to do is still it off.
Okay.
I'm just going to still it off real quick. Can you pass me the oil, please?
Sure, no
Thank you very much. And this is very quick, right?
All right, but obviously we're going to finish all of that.
Oh, yes.
I love that. We've got so much up our sleeve, Mzansi. We are setting you up, making sure that you're able to feed your family the food that they absolutely love as decently as possible. We are halfway through creating this delicious pork belly, or as you like to call it, a pork
Roulade.
A pork roulade. So please do head over to afternoonexpress.co.za for the full ingredients list and recipe to get cooking along with us.
Made with love by Clover.
Clover cheese is for those who love life, where everything falls into place and melts away our cares, adding joy and stretching our imagination. Clover, for the love of cheese.
Made with love by Clover.